Okay, Chair, we're live on YouTube. I'll hand over to you to start the meeting.
Thank you very much, Sarah. Good morning and welcome to East Devon District Council's Asset Management Forum meeting on Monday, the 3rd of March 2025. I'm your chair, Councillor Paul Hayward. I'd like to also welcome anyone watching via the meeting via the live streaming. May I respectfully remind members that the Code of Conduct applies throughout this meeting. We also reserve the right to remove and disconnect any participant who is disrupting the meeting by whatever means. Please turn any telephone devices off or to silent. I'll do the same myself, thank you. We'll now start the meeting by doing a roll call of forum members here present. Sarah, if you could assist with that, please.
Yes, certainly. We'll start with yourself. Councillor Hayward.
Present, thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Arnott.
Present, thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Young.
Present.
Thank you. And Councillor Olive. Okay, thank you. And I can confirm that we're quorate, Chair.
Thank you very much indeed. Appreciate that. So we move straight to agenda item number 1. Notes of the previous meeting held on the 2nd of December, pages 3 to 5 of your agenda pack. If anyone has any comment on the notes, please do so by raising your electronic hand long enough for Sarah to see it. I can't see anyone with their hands up, nothing coming up on my screen there. So I'll take that as an indication that we all agree to the notes of that previous meeting. Thank you very much indeed. Agenda item 2, apologies. I have prior apologies from Councillor Hawkins, which we note and approve. Councillor Olive may or may not attend, but we are quorate, so we can proceed. Do you have any other apologies, Sarah, from non-members of the...
No more, thank you.
Very much indeed. Straight on to agenda item 3, declarations of interest. If any councillors are on the panel or here present outside of the panel have any declarations to make, could you please raise your electronic hand and then state what those declarations are, please? Don't see any on there. Okie dokie. We now move to agenda item 4, public speaking. We have no public speakers registered to speak, so we can move on from there. Matters, agenda item 5, matters of urgency. I do believe there are any. I can't see any from anyone else. No officers are indicating. Agenda item 6, confidential exempt items. There is one item which the officers have recommended should be dealt with in part B. That's listed as agenda item 10 on the agenda pack. So then we move to agenda item 7, major projects and programmes team update, pages 6 to 10 of your agenda pack, and an update from Naomi. Good morning, Naomi. Nice to see you.
Good morning and thank you, Chair. So this paper provides a good update on the work of the major projects team, and this is the work of a number of officers who've been working hard on the plethora of projects that we've provided updates for you. So I'll provide a high-level overview of each of the projects. I'm very happy to take any questions at the end of that overview. So the first project is a depots review that we're working on across the Place Directorate, working with our street scene team in particular to understand their operational requirements as we move forward. As outlined in the report, it's critical that we get that right as we're a critical frontline service. We're at the moment reviewing the options for taking this project forward. And we'll later prepare an outline business case, which will be reported to Cabinet later on. Moving on, we have the public toilets in Sidmouth, and the Rockfish refurbishment and redevelopment are now being granted permission. Works are underway, and there are currently temporary toilet facilities in place, which will be moved to permanent facilities later on. Our Exmouth work has there's been quite significant focus on this over the last few months with the placemaking plan, and we are going to shortly be coming out with dates for workshops following engagement with WSP to plan a really good programme for completing our placemaking plan, and that's very much in in conjunction with the PETS group and Councillor Hookway, who's been supporting that area of work. We've also worked on the SPF funded feasibility studies for Queen's Drive and Beach Garden Space, working to get those designs to RIBA Stage 2. And a number of you in the AMF group will have been involved through the PETS group to review those designs to help us take that work forward, which will be completed by the end of this month. Moving to our stalled employment sites, we now have a multidisciplinary project team that was assembled in, I think, October of last year, and we've been working to look at delivery options for the Axminster, Honiton and Seaton sites. The Cloakham Lawn site, we've got a project initiation document that we'll be arranging to meet with ward members on this month to discuss the next steps for that project. And that's proceeding well at present. And we're looking to undertake a same approach for the Seaton sites, creating a project initiation document once we've refined that process and bringing it through with ward members and then back to the AMF group. The Honiton site will be considered by a separate report under Part B at the end of this meeting. Moving on to the Moradunham, the Cabinet's approved the preferred developer, and we're working with our legal team for disposal of the site. The Clyst Meadows Country Park, that's a project that we've been working on for throughout the autumn and looking to have that open in summer 25. So that's a site which supports the SANGS requirement for the Cranbrook area. And then finally, the Cranbox, the Cranbox project, which is with the 1.9 million from the devolution funding to bring forward additional employment space within Cranbrook Town Centre. There's quite a detailed update and we're keeping the Cranbrook members updated on the progress to try and get sufficient spend undertaken this financial year as required by the funding package. A further report on this project is being taken to Cabinet on Wednesday. Thank you very much and very happy to take any questions through the chair.
Thank you. Just before we come to that, thank you. Welcome to all the members who've just joined since we started, and morning Todd as well, member of the forum. Can I ask, Todd, do you have any declarations to make?
No declarations, Chair, and apologies for being late. I lost track of the time.
No problem at all. Thank you. And Jenny and Colin, I can see you're sharing a sort of split screen because I can see two sides of the same.
Yeah, no, we're not. I'm just trying to stop one of us speaking. Yeah, I'm a Honiton Town Councillor. Was it NRI, ORI?
Thank you. Unless it's particularly relevant to any of these, I don't.
Yeah, Hayne Lane.
Hayne Lane.
Yeah.
Thank you very much indeed, Jenny, for that.
Okay.
So anyway, so thank you, Naomi, for that. Ian, question from you.
Yeah, thank you. First of all, declarations of interest. I'm a member of Sidmouth Town Council, and obviously Sidmouth has a depot in its town. So I suppose I ought to declare that. And the question was on the depots review. How long have we been doing this depots review now? And where it says in due course, any idea when in due course is likely to be? Is it likely to be the next meeting, 2 months, 6 months, Christmas?
Through you, Chair. We are finalising a timetable for that area of work. So on the first question, I would need to check with the project manager for that project, how long that project has been underway. With regards to when we'll be ready to bring an outline business case to Cabinet, we're still working through that and working through the options assessment. And so at this stage, I can't confirm a timescale, but I think it's likely to be by summer 25.
Thank you. And just through you, Chair, again, did we have a third party involved in the review of this? Because I seem to remember somewhere I'm not sure if it was Savills or someone, but someone was giving us the advice. We pushed it out to them.
Through you, Chair, we have been working with a consultant. Unfortunately, their name escapes me. On this area of work, who was a specialist in this area, who has been able to provide specialist advice to support this work.
I just wonder if you could let me know when we started it later on. No rush. Thank you.
Thank you, Ian. Naomi, if you could make a note of that, Naomi, and let Councillor Barlow know, that'd be great. Thank you. Tim.
Yeah, Chair. So, apologies. My virtual hand seems to have disappeared, so I've had to rely on my
resort to your real hand.
My real hand. So, in terms of depots review, Ian, it's been going on probably and we've got Alison Hayward, the project manager, online, so she might come in a minute and give some more specifics. But I'd say it's probably been about 12 months. Yes, we've had external consultants involved. It's been a big project. Involving various different teams from the council, whether it be place, whether it be street scene, whether it be waste. So various different teams. The work did concluded probably autumn time, late autumn last year. However, it then required a piece of value engineering, and that's the work that we're currently doing, and then producing a timeline on how that then comes back through this group onto Cabinet, and how it fits in, most importantly, with the wider waste review. So it shouldn't just be seen as sort of a standalone. In terms of depots, it should be seen in the wider context. I don't know, Alison, if there was any more detail, particularly name the consultants, because I can't remember. so it must be an unusual name. So, Alison, if you could perhaps just confirm that, please, and anything else relevant.
Thank you, Tim. Through the chair, yes. The consultants are a firm called IESA. And we're working with IESA. We were originally working with. Forgive me, I've had a week off and I have forgotten the name of the original consultant, but the consultant IESA is who we're with now, because the lead consultant moved to be with IESA. So that's who we are working with. We concluded the initial work last summer, and I think we reported to the Depots and Recycling Working Group, the Waste and Recycling Working Group, last autumn. But yes, we've been working on this value engineering aspect, and we had a meeting recently with the consultants, went through the various issues in detail, and they are now reviewing that and will come back to us. I'm hoping I will hear something this week, and then we'll be looking at our timeline to getting a report through to Cabinet once we've worked on the outline business case.
Thank you, Alison. Appreciate that. So I can't see any other hands up. So thank you, Naomi, for that overview. If you could, just follow through on that 1 point for Councillor Barlow, that'd be appreciated. So we now move to agenda item 8, Estates Team Update, pages 11 to 13 in your reports pack, and it's over to you, Rob. Good morning, Rob.
Morning, everybody. Just a sort of a brief summary of the things that the estates team have been up to over the past couple of months. So members will be familiar with the ongoing discussions with Norman Lockyer. We've reported previously on sort of issues around works that need doing and things like that, and lease issues. So following the initial discussions that we had with the Norman Lockyer Observatory, they've now submitted the initial expression of interest in community asset transfer. That's going through the consultation process, and once we've captured sort of officer comments, then we'll obviously come back to AMF members for a steer in respect of that. So that's we'll whether to do that sort of outside of a meeting and just consult members directly, perhaps with time in mind, I suppose. In the second element we've got is that the team have been sort of massively busy in terms of the sudden increase in right to buy valuations that we do. So we undertake right to buy valuations on behalf of our housing colleagues. The budget in October changed the discount thresholds, which suddenly gave a 3-week window for people to get an application in. So that led to us receiving around 2 years worth of applications in a 3-week period. So obviously that's put additional pressure on the valuers within the team, which they've managed to keep on top of, and but it's obviously caused a lot of extra work for the team to deal with in the last couple of months. We've also successfully agreed terms for a new letting of a vacant industrial unit at Manston Workshops. So we don't normally get much turnover at Manston, so it's quite nice to have something there that you can offer to the market. There was a tenant that had been in the building for quite a while, and we've managed to identify and agree terms with a new tenant to go in there. So we're hoping to get the legal formalities sorted on that and get that lease over the line as quickly as possible. The public toilet disposals remain ongoing. There's a number of transfers to town and parishes which are either ready to exchange or have exchanged. I think the Budley one with exchange, I think, and there's a couple of others that are certainly imminent in terms of getting those over the line. And we've got a couple of public toilets in Sidford Cross and one at Seaton, at Marsh Road in Seaton, which are going to auction in April. So that should hopefully get us a positive result in terms of disposing of those sites. In terms of the overall performance of the portfolio, the general fund property portfolio has performed well. We've so far this year we've generated over £52,000 of additional rental income through lease renewals, rent reviews, etc. So that's been quite positive, and is a sort of a trend that we've kind of consistently managed to deliver over the last couple of years. The chart in the report just shows you kind of how it's spread across the year in terms of those increases. And in terms of the recent months, we've got a lot more involved in some other projects with our housing team. I think it's quite a good example of where the sort of services can work together and share expertise and things like that. So we'd become involved in some of these things where there was perhaps a query that had come through the surveyor dealing with it in housing, and sort of what can I do about this, and we'd been able to assist them in putting the appropriate arrangements in place and trying to agree sort of easements and things like that for them, so that they can just get on and do the works that they desperately need to do to get their project off the ground. So that's been really good, and like I say, I think it means that everything we've got appropriate arrangements in place, but also it's a really good example of services sort of coming together and sharing their expertise to get the best out of it. And just the final point is that we're in the process of the annual asset revaluation, massive piece of work that we do each year, revaluation of around sort of 65 to 70 million pounds worth of assets, and relies heavily on the expertise of the RICS registered valuers that we have in the team, and yes, a big piece of work that we're doing, and we need to get that done sort of in the bottom very quickly now, to enable finance to do all of their year-end works from them. Happy to take any questions if there's anything that arises.
Thank you, Rob. Now I saw obviously some East Devon comms recently about our 4 new units in Exmouth. Seems to be quite a nice lot of interest in that coming forwards, and they do. Yep. And obviously, I look forward to when all the works are finished, if I can, to go over and have a look and check them out. If perhaps we can raise that between ourselves.
Yeah. I think we were hoping to arrange a sort of a ribbon cutting. At the moment they're not quite finished yet. So no. Once we've got that certainty, what we've done at the moment is sort of done an initial expression of interest to just sort of gauge what level of demand there might be there. So we've got a fairly extensive list now of people who have expressed an interest in one of the units. So once we've got a bit more certainty in terms of timescales for completion, then obviously we can go back to people and hopefully start arranging viewings. But obviously before that, then obviously we'd like to do something with members to kind of publicise the new facility or the new availability within Exmouth.
It's a great thing for Exmouth.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
board members and the Mayor of Exmouth would love to be there to see it all. So thank you for taking that one through. It's a very positive thing for Exmouth. So thank you. I think Ian, you picked Ollie to the post there. So after you.
Thank you very much, Chair. Thanks for the report, Rob. Just the increase in the total rental income, £50,000 looks great. Could you sort of tell us that's an increase £50,000? Is that on the total 65 to 70 million pound combined value, or is that on? Obviously, that's on certain things. I just want to know what increase are we getting. That's obviously 1% of a 65 million, less than 1%, 65 million. But could you break that down a little bit more for us?
Yeah, so
you've increased them by 20%.
Yeah, our rent roll at the start of financial year was about 1.2 million, so it's an increase on the 1.2 million. The 65 to 70 million is a capital value, so it's an asset value rather than a rental value. If that makes sense. So this is an increase on the 1.2.
Okay, cheers.
Thank you, Ian. Ollie, over to you.
Thank you, Chair. As Exmouth's been mentioned quite a lot, I perhaps ought to say I'm an Exmouth Town Councillor. That's probably relevant to some of the sites we're talking about here. And I wanted to ask, it says 2 of the toilet sites are going to be auctioned. I just wondered which 2, not because I want to go and put in a bid, but I just wondered which they are.
It's Sidford Cross and Marsh Road in Seaton.
Thank you.
Prime real estate, Ollie. Prime real estate. Get in now. Nick, over to you, sir.
Yeah, thank you. Right, so my question is about some business units that were supposed to be next to the McCarthy Stone development in Salterton Road, one next to Tesco's. I understand that at one time these business units were to be handed over to East Devon. Has that happened or has that stalled? Anybody know, please?
That's still ongoing. That's what we were just discussing before with Councillor Harewood there. So the units are still under construction. We anticipate completion is probably about a month away, and then there's a transfer mechanism that's built in. So they will then transfer to us. That'll probably take about another 3 to 4 weeks from completion. So we just need to get the actual construction completed to a stage where we're happy, and then we'll do it. But as I said to Councillor Harewood before, we've done an initial expression of interest sort of exercise to sort of see what level of demand there is. So we've already got a reasonably strong waiting list in terms of number of people who are interested, and then obviously once we've got a bit more certainty, we'll be going back to those people from there.
Thank you. Sorry for getting you to repeat the question. I must have missed it. I must have distracted on something. But thank you very much indeed.
I did make myself clear, Nick, when I mentioned it. Apologies. Paul. Morning.
Thanks, Chair. Morning. Just looking at the dates for these 2 auctions in April, which is slam bang in the middle of the pre-election period, and you will inevitably get kickback. We will inevitably get kickback on that when that hits the Facebook pages. Has anybody given that any thought to the sensitivity around that? And is there any possibility of just putting it back by a couple of weeks? The election's May the 1st, so I don't know. Any thoughts on that would be appreciated.
Tim?
Yeah, okay. So the Sidford Cross ones were closed prior to COVID, so have been closed for 5-6 years. We consulted with the town council. Well, we did more than consulted. We sort of used we consulted with the town council probably 12 months ago. They were fully supportive of this, and there are antisocial behaviour issues, hence the fact that we want to dispose of them. There are good development opportunities there as well as a capital receipt, but also equally important to see something happening on that site. So that should be non-controversial. The second site is Marsh Road, Seaton. Again, that site has been closed. So that site's been closed since COVID. So we're not selling a a operating toilet building. And I suppose just to give some sort of further context, it's probably worth saying that there are other sites that Rob will be able to confirm details of, but there are other sites that are non-public toilets that are also going to auction. Again, sort of non-controversial sites. So I don't know if that's allayed your concerns, Paul, and Rob. It might be useful if you could just.
Well, only the facts are welcome, Tim. I suppose it's that no matter what we consider the facts and what we consider the messaging, as soon as something like this, toilet being auctioned off in April, hits community Facebook pages, it will kick off. And I just wonder whether our comms team needs to work with you for just to have a look at that. So because we will get, the thing is, we all know why we're doing it. For what it's worth, I'm trying personally to avoid social media commentary totally. I don't want to do it. I don't want to get into it. But I will tell you now, if there's a link there that indicates that we're selling toilet buildings, that will attract a lot of flack and controversy, which is fine, but it's tricky during a pre-election period. And it may not seem logical to you, Tim, and I get that, but that is what the reality will be. East Devon's shutting more toilets. Well, they've been shut for years. That won't be what the message is. And the facts, the date of the auction, the advertising of the auction would flash that. I won't go on about it, but still.
Thank you, Paul. Tracy, you wanted to come back?
Thanks, Paul. It was just on Paul's comment, actually. If Tim, if we're able to have a conversation and bring in Mel and Alison, please. I do agree with Paul. We don't want to bring anything into the media arena that we don't need to in elections time. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Tracy. Ian.
Well, I was just going to say, this isn't exactly secret squirrels. It's been up there for a long time. We've been planning it for, well, at least 2 years that I've been here, that they're going to be getting rid of. The toilets have been shut for a long time. And to be honest, we're a non-political grouping. So at the end of the day, I can't really see that this is going to make a huge amount of difference. And we all sit on these panels. So I don't see why it would be an issue. And we need to move forward with these things. Otherwise, it will be into the summer and then, yeah, there's more people in it. And it's already been on Facebook in Sidmouth anyway, 2 or 3 times now. So it's not new news.
Thank you.
No, Ian, unfortunately, that's not how, sadly, it's not how the lower end of the political campaigners work at election time. Okay, that's just a fact. Anyway, I won't.
Well, if we can leave that with Tracy to have a chat with Tim and with Mel, and they can take that forward there. I take Councillor Barlow's point, as I take yours. So thank you. Are there any more questions for Rob? I can't see any more hands up. Anyone gesticulating with their real hands? So Rob, thank you very much indeed for that report. It's much appreciated. We now move to agenda item 9, community asset transfer request, pages 4 to 18 of your agenda pack. And Tim, over to you.
Over to Rob again.
Yep.
Okay, Chair.
Yep. So this is a report which is basically just makes members aware and seeks any views on the application from Newton Poplarford and Hertford Parish Council to take a community asset transfer of the public toilet building at School Lane Car Park in Newton Poplarford. Not sure how many members are familiar with the site or the building itself, but you've got a public toilet building which the town council, parish council, have leased for a number of years. They've currently got a 30-year lease of the site and would like to take a freehold transfer to enable them to invest more in the site. Just before I go any further, I know. Tim had highlighted that the original expression of interest wasn't attached to the report. So if it's possible, I can share that on the screen if that's
if you wouldn't mind.
Yeah,
that'd be very helpful.
Bear with me just a second. Right. Can you see that one? So this is the expression of interest form. Basically, so just to walk you through it, the parish council are seeking a free transfer, known as a community asset transfer. Obviously they've put their details in there. The reason that they want it is that they want to upgrade the existing toilet facilities, which are old and in poor condition. Part of the building they would like to repurpose for a storage facility for their emergency flood defence equipment, and that they currently hold a lease from East Devon, and they want to upgrade it to become a community asset. They've gone on to explain that the facility is already a public toilet. They intend to retain it as a public toilet, but also to add some additional storage into there. And then the benefits to the local community are that the flood event in May 2023 highlighted inadequacy of their emergency plan, and the parish council found that their emergency equipment was stored in 2 locations, neither of which was available to parishioners. And then to house the equipment in a building adjacent to the public car park will be a benefit to them. And then obviously there'll be the retention of the public toilet, which is a benefit to residents, visitors, and delivery drivers, walking groups, etc. And then it just points out that there's very few remaining free car parking facilities and publicly available public toilets in the area. So the parish council have carried out surveys of residents, canvass users of facility regarding the need to retain a public toilet in this location, and despite the cost of maintenance, the parish council has come to the conclusion that this is a community asset and should be preserved. So parish council said they've got to set funds aside to carry out the refurbishment works and maintain the facility going forwards, and that's basically their expression of interest. So in terms of the comments that we've had from an officer point of view, everyone has been largely supportive of the principle of it. The toilet building itself is effectively an asset which is controlled and run by the parish council. So what we're talking about is moving from a 30-year lease to a freehold transfer. One of the questions that was raised was around the car park, and whether that should be explored as a part of the transfer as well. There's currently a free car park, and there's limited potential to do anything else with it, given various access rights and public rights of way over the land and things like that. And obviously, if we were to transfer a toilet, then you'd then have the issue of people with a freehold in the corner of a site that you already own as well. So that's worthy of consideration as to whether it's something that we want to explore, or whether members just would prefer to go down the route of looking further at a transfer. But yeah, it's really open to forum members, I suppose. Are there any comments? What thoughts people have got? And that'll be then used to form a report to Councillor Hayward as portfolio holder, which will then recommend whether we seek a sort of formal business case from them in terms of a community asset transfer.
Thank you, Rob. If you could unshare for us.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry. Thank you. Questions from outside of committee? Okay, so I'm not sure who put their hand up first. Councillor Young. You haven't had a go yet?
Thank you for that. I take it it's our car park, and
it is, yes.
It's a free one. How many other car parks have we got that are free, that parish and town councils might be interested in? And how many other toilets are actually leased to parish councils? I know of one other, at the time of the lease transfers, there was some transferred to the parish council at that time. So I wonder if a broader piece of work can be looked at for the car parks that are not making us any money, and also the toilets that are leased to the parish councils. Seeing we're going into devolution, this would be tidying up some loose ends. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeff. Rob, rather than answering that now, we want to debate this. If you could collate that information,
absolutely, yeah,
send it through to Councillor Young, copy myself. That'd be very handy.
Yeah, that's fine, and I'll ask Richard to just provide a bit more background on it as well, as from a car parks perspective. Thank
you very much indeed. Todd, I can see you put your hand down, but we'll come within forum in a minute. Ian.
Thank you, Chair. I think Jeff's asked most of my questions. I just wondered why this wasn't in the toilet review in the first place, because I thought we were offered the toilets, all the parish councils were offered the freehold of the toilets if they didn't want to. I realise they're leasing it, but yeah, that was basically it. And yeah, I totally agree with getting rid of the car park to them. It's a free car park. We own nothing to it. It's not an asset. It's a liability. And you should give these to the small villages to look after if they want it. I don't know. They didn't seem, I haven't seen obviously or read through that expressions of interest, but I didn't see anything in there saying they might want it.
Thank you, Ian. I think the answer to that is simply that it was already under lease to that parish council. Excuse me, right. What I'm going to do, if I could just ask, I'm sorry everyone, just for a 3-minute adjournment, Sarah, is that okay? As I'm going to be decamped from this meeting place. So I'm just going to put my screen on mute. If you could adjourn for 3 minutes, my apologies everyone, and I will re-adjourn when I found somewhere to sit. Thank you.